one's filled with caramel or caramel. It is studded with a lion crest on it. Man, Godiva really wants to go all out.
It's not a bird, it's not a plane, it's Superhero Slate. It's a modern podcast where we talk about everything that's great, like movies, TV, superheroes. It's Superhero Slate. Oh yeah.
Hello everyone, welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest superhero entertainment news.
We love TV, movies, and superheroes, so let's talk it all out.
My name is Chris Dillard.
And my name's Mike Royer.
And this week we're going to talk Sony's universe of Marvel characters. That is officially what it's called. Yep.
If that was the official name, that'd be hilarious.
That is actually. So we're going to talk about that.
Oh my gosh.
The Marvel Cinematic Universe IMAX Marathon is going on later this month, Mike.
Prepare your eyeballs. Get new contact lenses. Go back to the optometrist. You're going to need new glasses.
You don't need to go to vacation ever again at work. You're going to use all your vacation time watching these movies. That's for sure. We're also going to talk about what Disney has planned for its streaming service. Some details have officially come out on that and more.
Yeah, are we talking about? Okay, we are talking about the DC streaming service. I wanted to talk about that a little bit. So since we have it in our notes, I'll wait till that rolls up. So Man, so many streaming services. I realized I've been paying for HBO Now for the last 3 or 4 months, and I don't think we've used it in a while. So they always have a better selection of movies, I feel like. So I went on, and for the first time, if you follow me on Twitter, you'll know that I watched Predator. I'd never seen Predator
before. The original
one.
Okay.
Yeah, the original, and I watched it yesterday. I wanted to have some context for, I don't really need to see the new movie that's coming out, but I've seen all the Alien movies, so I was they kind of cross over in those weird versus movies. So I was I'll go watch Predator, and man, it was the special effects do not hold up, unfortunately. It's not kind of one of those classic sci-fi movies where you just use the special effects to just kind of plus up a scene. The active camouflage may have been groundbreaking in 87 for that movie, but it looks very weird now. But at the end of the movie, when kind of the Predators and all practical makeup and everything, Finding Arnold, it works really well. And man, there's this iconic scene that I've been seeing all my life, and I never know where it was from, but it was when Arnold and Carl Weathers do the handshake at the beginning of the movie. Man, their guns are gigantic. I never knew Carl Weathers was almost literally as ripped as Arnold back in the day. They thunderclap handshake, and their biceps are the entire frame of the screen, and I was whoa. I audibly said whoa out loud. No one else is in the room with me. It was that shocking. So I had to memorialize that in a GIF. So
that's the testosterone just beaming off the screen into your eyes, man.
It was crazy, and I think my favorite part about the movie was just how simple and pared down it was. I feel like in any movie that would come out now, you would have this long, detailed backstory about who Arnold's character is, why he's so grizzled and tough, and just before he kills the Predator, he flashes back to his daughter dying or something like that. You don't know really jack about Arnold in this movie at all. You just know he's just a badass, and he was recruited to do a job, and he got kind of screwed over. So I like about how straightforward it was, and you got to learn just about him emotionally throughout the movie. I don't know, but it's not groundbreaking, but it's just fun. Just watch it for that handshake.
I don't know if anyone's going to describe Predator as an emotional journey ever again, Mike. But I appreciate you taking the time to watch it.
Arnold lets out a pretty primal scream at the end of the movie to draw the Predator towards his bonfire. So it gets pretty primal.
It is a very cat and mouse style movie after the intro where you get to see Arnold hiding in the mud and all that other stuff. So I think minus the special effects, I still think the story on that one's really good.
And you don't even know a whole lot about the Predator either. I'm sure he has a whole lore that is developed in comic books and stuff like that, especially when it connects with the Alien franchise, which I'm sure someone's probably yelling right now saying, "Oh, that's not canon, but yeah, man, it's very straightforward.
Simpler times back when you didn't need to explain the backstory of every character in the movie. Otherwise, you get Anakin Skywalker in the prequels. So,
that is the truth. So basically, what I'm saying now is I'm going to try to watch one of those Alien versus Predator movies, and then
you got to watch Predator 2. You have to watch Predator 2 now.
Okay,
with Danny Glover. It's got Danny Glover in it.
Yeah, I was surprised that there was no fourth Predator movie. I know that there was a Predator that I think came out in 2010.
Yeah, Predators.
Yeah, I didn't watch. I don't know anything about it, but I was kind of half expecting like a 1990s Predator movie, like maybe in the later 90s or something. But I guess it just went Predator 1, Predator 2. Then there was a drought for a long time. So Who knows? Well, there you go. Enough Predator talk.
Yeah, well, there you go.
What did you get up to this weekend, Chris?
I played some video. I played Grand Theft Auto this week. I was like, what did I do Friday? My friend Andrew came over. We had 2 Xboxes in one room, just like the good old days.
Oh, good old LAN parties.
Playing Grand Theft Auto 5 online, but it was just us in there, so it was kind of fun. And then got into some board games yesterday. Have you ever played the Logo game?
No, I haven't.
It's like a board game where you're given like tips on logos or slogans or stuff like that. But they have a new version called Logo Party, and then it's actually pretty hard. I don't know a lot of those companies that were in there. I'm like, I need to do some research. And then today I played Pokemon. It's my community day Pokemon, so it's been a nerdy weekend. I gotta give a shout out to a friend of mine, listening to the show. His name's Alan. Every time I get a collector core, Alan's got a young son. He may be like 4 or 5 years old, so I gave him some old comic books a couple years ago in a box. He won the Smash Brothers tournament. I think he got our prize from us.
Whoa, nice.
And so this time I gave him a little bath time Deadpool keychain. And a little Marvel bandana, like a little headband bandana for him. And he drew me a picture today of Spider-Man. It says, "Thank you, you are cool."
Oh, that's rad.
So I've got that cool right here. I told him I was going to take it home and put it in my office when I record my podcast. So yeah, he was out. He was toughing through the heat and the Pokemon crowd to hang out with us today. So
well, enough of your heartwarming story,
yeah, I know,
because
right?
I downloaded Shovel Knight.
I
haven't played it yet, so I don't have much to say, but this is my plug to say subscribe to the Superhero Slate podcast, because next week I'll let you know how Shovel Knight's going, even though it's been out for years and everybody loves it already. But if you want to know my opinion, the one that really matters, tune in next week.
Yeah, tune in next week. I think the biggest surprise from Mike on Shovel Knight is games still can exist under 200 megabytes.
Oh my gosh. Like I know it's like an older retro 8-bit style, but I would at least think that like, oh, maybe the audio files are like, super high def premium, and and since it's like a modern game on hard drives, you don't have to worry about compressing it or something. But they chunked it all down. Like you could put that on a couple floppy drives, I think. So I was really actually, I don't even know how much a floppy holds. Wasn't it like
1.8? I think
it was like you had to get like one of those like big zip drives to like get to 32 megabytes or something. So maybe a couple zip drives out there. Yeah. But yeah, I was impressed. So I downloaded that bad boy, and I'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah, well, it sounds like it's been a pretty nerdy weekend all around for us in here. But we're not here to be nerds. We're here to give news. Okay.
No, we're here to be nerds.
Oh yeah, we're here to be nerds with news. That's the name. We're going to rename the show, Mike. Nerds with News. Let's do it.
Oh my gosh.
First up, I think this surprises me, but I'm not really surprised. I don't know how. But Batwoman is coming to the CW later this year in a crossover with Arrow, and they've cast Batwoman as Ruby Rose. You might know her from John Wick 2. I think is she coming up in the new Predators movie, maybe? I don't know.
Possibly. I think she was more introduced to the mainstream, well, at least to me, in one of the previous seasons of Orange is the New Black, kind of when that show was kind of still like in the zeitgeist from Netflix. So yeah, she's making a lot of big action waves. I don't keep track of her cinematography history, but I think she's been in a lot of kind of like rough and tumble female roles. So it seems like she's gonna have I hate it when people say this, because it's just like you can't just look at the physicality on screen and just say like, oh, they'll have the physicality for it, because there's always stunt doubles, but I feel like she'll have the physicality for the role, so hopefully it's pretty action packed. Then also she's getting her own TV series after it too. It's not just going to be in the crossover, so that makes me think that was a way to kind of get maybe a little bit more of an A-lister from cinemas onto the television. And also television and TV is kind of blending lines anyway. Like, you can do anything now. It doesn't matter. You don't look down on the CW anymore. Yeah. They got all those shows. You want that CW money.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they will almost give anyone a show on there. So, but yeah, no, I mean, she's in the Meg is what I was thinking of that just came out.
Okay. Gotcha.
I was like, it's something very close. So, she's no stranger to action films, and including Resident Evil, the latest XXX movie, which we all saw. Let's be honest.
Oh yeah.
And John Wick and the Meg. So I mean, she's known for more recently being an action star kind of thing. So bringing Batwoman, an action kind of star to the Batwoman role, it's fine with me. I mean,
well, something I wasn't very familiar with, because I'm not super familiar with Batwoman, but apparently the character is gay, and I think Ruby Rose is also, so that kind of casting fits with the personality culture of the character. So I guess a lot of people are really excited about that when I saw the announcement on Twitter.
Yeah, she is Kate Kane, I believe, is the one they're going to go with, who has a sexual orientation of being a lesbian. So that was a big deal, I think, more recently in the comic books. I think in the 2009-2010 era, so more recently. So yeah, we don't know what they're going to do with her. And actually, her TV show's not greenlit yet, but they're probably going to greenlight that show so quick after the crossover.
Yeah, and also I think I saw a headline somewhere that said they're pretty positive that Batman's probably never going to show up on the big screen, or like the small screen, the small silver, whatever you want to call it.
Well, not even in Gotham.
Yeah,
probably not in Gotham.
I guess technically, they'll probably just show like a corner of his cowl at the very end of the last season of Gotham.
Oh well, I mean they've talked about that forever, but they ended up adding Superman to Supergirl for a couple episodes. So
yeah, I think that was out of desperate ratings ploy, but
you never know what's going to happen here, Mike. But speaking of shows on the CW, The Flash has debuted a new costume, an updated costume for season 5 here. I don't know if you've seen this yet or not.
Yeah, I'm checking it out.
So it's a little more streamlined. This poster I don't think does it any justice. It looks kind of loose and kind of meh on it, but you can notice he's got the lines down his helmet to make him look a little more intimidating, and he's got a gold belt on in this one as well. I think the gold belt's new.
Yeah, there was actually some controversy wrapped around this costume too, because we over here at the Superhero Slate have like an inside source to The Flash and some of the other CW shows. And the first picture of the costume, which I don't think they were planning on releasing it this soon, but the first costume was actually leaked by somebody that was like in the room during like a costume test fitting. So that dropped online because I saw that on Twitter. Instagram, like earlier this week, and it's not a very flattering picture of Grant Gustin because he's just in a costume fitting. He's like caught off guard by, I'm assuming, an employee. I believe that was working because I don't know how else you get into that room to like sneak a pic. Yeah. So he basically just makes him look really slim, and his neckline looks like very, very slender. So a lot of people were like saying like, oh my God, Grant Gustin must be anorexic. He's so tiny. He's so slim. And he fired back saying that like, hey, you can't just like body shame people for like a test fitting of a superhero costume. So they kind of released a more official costume update I think it was Grant's Instagram account.
Yeah,
and then
he's put up a couple photos this week.
Yeah, and now they have like this updated like official one that it looks pretty good to me. I don't know if we said it on the show, but I know the post-production department was looking forward to a costume that was a little bit more fabric oriented, so they didn't have all the squeaking like week when he's like running and moving around.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's not a drastic change. Like, this isn't like, oh my God, the Flash went to a different color scheme or something. So it's pretty in par with it, but I mean, it looks, again, like you said, more fabric-y, and it'll probably look pretty good on screen when he's moving around in it. So I think the gold belt was like the biggest thing I think they added. I think it's going to come out of his finger, like a ring this time as well, maybe.
Yeah. I feel like all of these CW shows kind of, they slowly always try to trend the costume every season a little bit more towards like the comic book, because like when you put like the comic book, like a illustrated character on live action screen, it's always jarring because it's, it's relatively like cartoonish. So you kind of have to gradually move yourself there until it kind of fits in with the world. So this looks cool though. I like it.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely, it's all right with me. So there you go. There's a Flash thing. Doom Patrol. You were talking about something on the DC universe here. Did you want to drop that first, or did you want to talk about Doom Patrol first?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't really necessarily news. It was, I keep seeing a lot of updates from the DC streaming service in my Twitter account because, when they announced the service, I followed them. So they're doing like all these like half-hearted like sales pitches almost for this series. They're like, hey, guess what? You're going to be able to watch all of these old Wonder Woman shows on this network. And also we're going to put like this other old TV series that you didn't really care about. So I'm just like, I'm getting a little worried that there's not a whole lot to sell this, which makes sense why they were trying to sell like 15 months of this ahead of time, because I was kind of hoping when they launched the series, like it would launch the streaming service, it would have everything, not only like the Titan show, but it would also be ready to go with the new season of Young Justice. We wouldn't have to wait like months for that until next year. And I was hoping it would have all of the DC movies. I wouldn't watch them, but that would be at least a plus. You could watch Wonder Woman and hopefully Aquaman as soon as it dropped to digital. And like it maybe some of the old like Nolan Batman movies and like everything. I just wanted the whole catalog that they had under their belt to go to DC, and it just doesn't seem like they're really worried about adding that stuff very quickly or at the very beginning. So I feel like the price is going to be really important. I don't know if we know exactly how much it's going to be monthly yet.
Yeah, they don't have. They just have the $75 for 15 months. I'm probably less worried about it because I think, a lot of people who are getting into this are probably not newer people who have already owned these movies. Like if someone's going to get into this and they're very serious, they probably already own all the new DC movies. They're like, I already have it on my other thing, so I don't need to stream it immediately. So finding those older shows available to watch, because you can't go on to Netflix or Hulu or Amazon and pick up Batman the Animated Series, to watch digitally right now. So I think they're just pushing that because a lot of those are not available on other streaming services right now. Like, hey, we pulled these, so what are you gonna do here? I'd like to see more of what they're offering before I sign up for anything. I think 15 months is a huge commitment.
Well, it looks like I'm actually on their landing page right now, and it's going to be $7.99 a month, which I think is kind of what we were almost guessing it was going to be.
Okay, they have that already. Okay.
Yeah, so that's up. It's not available yet. It says fall 2018, so we got a little bit longer to wait, but I think it would have been better if they would have launched with maybe 2 series instead of 1 series. But, I guess they got to do what they got to do. So,
well, would you rather have 2 series now and wait a year for something new, or at least space them out every 3 months while they get this going? Because they don't have the Netflix money to put something out every month. Like Netflix does. I mean, would you rather have 2 at the beginning and then wait, or just space them out so every 3 months or so you're at least getting something new?
I'd rather have 2 new series every 3 months. This is definitely a consumer's market for sure, because they're competing with Netflix, who's putting out like original series like every other day, and Amazon and Hulu. So they definitely have an uphill battle. Do you
think this is in competition with that though, because it's a very niche offering?
Oh yeah, I think it's in competition just because we've actually seen like other smaller streaming services like fall to the wayside. Like places like CISO have crumbled, and some other like streaming services are actually getting bought up by bigger corporations. So we don't really know exactly what's going to happen to them. I think Crunchyroll is technically under a subsidiary of AT&T now. So there's a lot of shifting out there. So. Yeah, the landscape is crazy. We'll see how DC Universe fares.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm just gonna go on record. I don't think DC Universe compares to Netflix or Hulu. It's not like, hey, which one am I gonna go to? Simply because like you have to be specifically looking for DC content to get this. So I think this is more of a line like kind of a subscription box. So like, like, oh, I want to get my Rick and Morty gear every month or whatever. Like that's kind of what I liken it to. So. I don't know what their goals are, but there is a lot of pictures
you
here.
Just pitched something that probably will happen. We probably will see a Loot Crate streaming service, and it sounds ridiculous now, but
every month it's a new theme on there. You can only watch those shows for that month.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. Like, just bolt on another $5 to your Loot Crate subscription, and not only are you getting physical items, you're also getting a streaming service where you can watch like all of this extra content. It's gonna happen. It's already out there. It's out there in the world.
There we go. I'm trying to look at some of these pictures. Some of these pictures are really interesting in this DC Universe landing page. I'm just trying to figure out, because I see like Gotham by Gaslight's like one of their brand new animated movies, and it's up there. Unless that's a comic book cover. I don't know. We'll figure it out later. Doom Patrol is kind of what we were going with here. The actor Joivan Wade, who was recently in the first Purge as a star, has been cast as a cyborg for this show.
A cyborg.
Yeah. So he will be Cyborg in Doom Patrol, and I think they said Doom Patrol is going to focus more on putting these 5 weird people together. So we'll see how big of a role he plays in, or how much CG they're going to need for him in this one. Probably cover him up in cloaks and computer screens pretty easily. But the villain is going to be Mr. Nobody. If you do a Google search for Mr. Nobody, Mike, you're going to see he looks like some weird cartoon character. So I don't know how faithful they're going to stick to that, but he is seeking vengeance on the person he holds responsible for the failed experiment that caused condition, which, in addition to his insanity, has left him stuck between 2 dimensions. So, in the comic books, I think he has the ability to cause insanity in other people, which feeds into his insanity. Did you do a Google on the mic just now?
Oh, that sounds pretty insane. I did not do a Google.
You should do.
But I was thinking about Cyborg because I was scrolling through our notes and I didn't see we don't have really a robust DC news this week, but everyone may have forgotten about the big screen version of Cyborg. I don't even remember the guy's name. Was it like Ray Fisher or something, or am I just making the actor's name up in my head right now?
Is it Ray? Maybe. I want to say it was Ray Stone, but I could be horribly wrong. I'm gonna look it up. What do you got? Continue on.
But he was quoted saying that he doesn't plan on going anywhere. So apparently there is some still development talks out there at Warner Brothers with him. I don't know if it's really I don't know if he's like standalone movie material, but it seems like they're still trying to hold on to some bits of vestige of the Justice League movie. So good luck with that, Ray Fisher. Well, maybe you'll get to cross paths with your other Cyborg friend someday.
I don't feel Cyborg can carry a big movie on his own. Like that was always my concern.
I mean, not with that origin. I mean, we basically got his origin in Justice League, and it was not very compelling.
Did we even get an origin? I think he just showed up. He's like, yeah, I got to a wreck, and they put the box on me.
I mean, his whole origin was the MacGuffin boxes,
yeah.
So...
see, I've already forgotten about that. They could have just told me, yeah, this is Cyborg. He's a robot dude now. Mm-hmm. And, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But Doom Patrol is moving along here. We're gonna see what they do with Mr. Nobody, and Mr. Nobody looks like Mr. Game & Watch from the old. That's what it was. That's what I was thinking of. So
maybe this is just a back channel Smash Brothers announcement. You know, they announced King K. Rool this week. So
yeah, and they killed Luigi. So
oh my God, they did kill Luigi. They just straight up killed him.
Yeah,
I watched somebody was recording. I guess there's some Nintendo stores around the world that I've never been to before. So I don't know what country this was in, but they were live streaming the Super Smash Brothers like announcement at some of these Nintendo stores, and somebody was recording it, so you kind of got to see the audience reaction. And man, the people, like when Luigi died, they're all just like, oh, and then they lost it when King K. Rool was announced, which I don't understand. Like, I get it. He's like a cool Donkey Kong villain, but is there really that much hype out there for like a Donkey Kong villain? All right.
I think they're just excited for new characters, man. Give us a new one. Oh, we're excited. Woo! Changing it up a little bit. Are you getting that? Are you getting the Switch, the box that for the Smash Brothers Ultimate box?
Oh man, I don't know. No. Maybe if someone can find one that fell off a truck.
Yeah, maybe. Anyway, moving right along, the Batman movie is still in progress here, and the newest reports say that the project will begin filming in early 2019.
I'll believe it when I see it. They've said the same thing about Gambit movies in the past, so I can't trust Hollywood.
It's true. Matt Reeves has also gone on record this week saying that it is not based on Year One, despite previous reports.
Our previous reports from a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, but it's more noir driven.
Okay.
And lastly, Ben Affleck is signed on this as a producer still, but there's no confirmation who will be playing Batman yet.
Yeah, the producer sign-on really means nothing to me. I think it would just be like, oh, well, he was Batman, and he's a really good director, so I'm sure there's like a contract somewhere that says
he probably gave some money to it.
Or they just want Ben Affleck's name associated with it because he's still like a good get. A good name to put on a poster, but yeah, I'm really sensing like a recasting here because this is almost not going to be like a reboot, but it's going to be the first Batman standalone movie in a long time. So why would you put Ben Affleck back in it if he's not going to be like balls deep and just do a bunch more movies? Because they're going to want to develop Batman more. That's where all their money is. So you can't really trust the longevity of Batfleck.
Yeah, they just need to pull the trigger You can wait and wait and wait, but Batman's gonna make money, but like you just got to do something with it. Like you can't just let them stagnating out there. So hopefully it is a good one when they do start.
Yeah.
But
well, if it's gonna be filming in 2019, so 2020 release, so maybe I don't know. Maybe they'll go whole hog and go crazy at maybe Comic-Con next year or something.
Yeah.
And announce it.
Yeah, or at least bring some footage. They took a while to film Justice League too. Like they took Justice League to 3 Comic-Cons before they released it. So their post-production over at Warner Brothers takes a long time. So hopefully, knock on wood, New York Comic-Con may bring us an announcement, Mike, since that's still left this year.
Yeah, that's true.
Aquaman has a new image here, and I saw this image and I'm like, is this the same device from Age of Ultron that brought Sokovia down? Some sort of ancient merman or mermaid magic, it looks like. Yeah, there's a bunch of statues behind it that look like maybe mer people, and there's some gears, and this is all teal, because teal is the color of water, Mike, if you didn't know that. Clear water is very teal. And Aquaman and Mera here look like they put some sort of Alexa device on the gear and it's spinning.
Yeah, I was thinking it was the thing from The Fifth Element. It was like that block that they needed to stop the living planet from crashing into Earth.
Yeah. There's nothing else here. I mean, again, Mera's hair is bright red, like the reddest red you could ever find. And I just thought this looked like the thing from Avengers at first. I thought someone had put 2 images together, so I was like, what the hell's going on? So I just thought I'd share this with you, Mike. Take a look at it there. Aquaman's still coming out December this year. Again, take this with a pinch of salt here. Supergirl, the movie is in works at Warner Brothers with Oren Uziel, who wrote 22 Jump Street, writing the script for it.
Oh, okay.
Again, there are no producers yet. This is just kind of toes in the water, feeling it out, seeing if they can get a script going for Supergirl.
I guess it's kind of hard to have an opinion on this news just because they announce stuff all the time. Yeah. But
they don't even announce it. It's just like a report, like, hey, this guy's writing the script, and they're like, okay, well, they must be making this movie.
Yeah, I guess you just have to find the unique angle that is Supergirl, because pretty much the similar power sets to Clark Kent and Superman, not the same origin, but from the same planet. So, dealing with kind of similar, I don't know, maybe they make her younger. Maybe you kind of have her finding her powers when she's like in high school, maybe kind of a la Peter Parker. So you can kind of have that different bent on what it's like to be a superhero. So they can kind of have their own teenager.
Well, that's kind of like her thing is as well. She's technically older than Clark Kent, Superman. She was born first, but when she got unfrozen later, so she didn't age any. So she actually came out younger than Superman when she did come out on Earth. I don't know if you remember is it Man of Steel in the in his little ship, like his Fortress of Solitude.
Oh yeah,
ship?
there's like another pod.
There's like a pod that was open, so that may be a way to tie it in together if they ever wanted to. Maybe like that's her, and maybe she's been out there for a while and just doesn't know it, or something. So
isn't it hilarious that we're hearing about a Supergirl movie that possibly in development, and we haven't even heard about a Man of Steel 2 in like decades?
Yeah. Superman 2? Nah, we don't need him. You didn't watch the newest Mission Impossible, did you?
Man, not yet. I gotta see that. I gotta go see Teen Titans Go, because that freaking theme song I didn't even know existed. Like, since I follow so many like animators and people that work in the animation industry on social media, I think somebody that worked on the movie that animated a lot of the dance sequences, or I guess like the dance move for the characters, just kind of compiled all their dancing into one video. And then I was like, oh, this is cool. Then I hit tap to unmute, and I was like, oh, what is this catchy theme song? And I was like, oh, Chris. And then you just tell me I got to go see the movie. So
once you showed me that, I played it out loud. My wife was like, that's one of my favorite parts of the movie. So now that song's been going on in my house for a couple days now.
Oh, man. Yeah, I got to go see it.
I convinced, again, Todd Show Alan, he took his son to watch it today after playing Pokemon, so...
Do I just need to go kidnap someone's kid and be like, we're going to the movies?
You can if you want. I can't condone that on this radio show, Mike, that is out in the public, so no.
Well, I was looking for like an earlier showing for the movie, but the only early one that was near me was something that I have never seen before, but it's for like sensory issues.
Yeah, sensory.
For young kids. Yeah. So I was like, what are they just going to turn the volume down and the brightness down? Like,
I think they turned the brightness of the lights up in the theater so it's not completely dark.
Okay.
Like it's very much like you're watching a movie in your living room at the theater.
Okay.
So
gotcha.
Yeah. Anyway, well, I mean, Yeah. Teen Titans Go, yeah. Anyway, Henry Cavill was pretty awesome in Mission Impossible, the newest one. So I would like to see him come back as Superman sooner than later, but with a real face and not a digital face. That gives me nightmares. Ralph Breaks the Internet, although being a Disney movie, has cast Gal Gadot to voice the character Shank. And she has this thing called the Slaughter Race in this movie. And this version, you can see that looks like a Disney version of Gal Gadot, technically.
Yeah, it really does. Like I was kind of expecting a like a video game character to have some sort of like unique like character trait to it, but no, it's kind of like the similar in the first record. Well, you haven't seen the first record, Ralph. There's a couple like next gen video game characters that kind of look more realistic. So she's probably from a more like adult, like futuristic game, and she has like a tattoo of like a knife on her wrist.
Yeah,
like she looks pretty badass.
Yeah, her game's a slaughter race, and apparently there's probably going to be like some sort of big fancy race where if you die in the race, you die in real life or something like that. I don't know, but.
And you're going to have to go hunt down like a more sophisticated Disney princess podcast if you want like analysis of that photo that came out of all of them in their pajamas.
Yeah.
Because I saw it and like everybody that I follow on social media was like freaking out that like, oh my God, they wear pajamas, not just dresses. I was just like, okay, settle down, people. Yeah, this is cool, but like this, like people were like freaking out. Like one of the
is Wreck-It Ralph breaking the internet?
I think it's like Snow White. She's the character that like sleeps, right?
Like Sleeping Beauty.
Sleeping. I don't know what their characters are called. Sleeping Beauty was wearing a shirt that said like Nap Queen, and people were like freaking out. Oh my God, I gotta buy that shirt. And it's just like, relax. Disney will sell you that shirt at the Disney store. Just wait until the movie comes out.
Yeah, or you can go to your box lunch and buy one, probably, Mike.
Yeah, probably.
I love my box lunch. Another image that came up, there was a couple that came out, they was Into the Spider-Verse. We always talk about this movie. It's looking absolutely phenomenal and beautiful and just kind of groundbreaking. And here we get to see original Spider-Man fighting a villain, which I think is the Prowler, because he has the color and looks like it's kind of tech-based here. Again, I love the halftone dots of different sizes and scopes to show the light beams. It just looks so cool, Mike. I mean, what are you seeing in this? That you anything you enjoy in this offhand?
Well, I didn't really look at the reveal of like the image, but when it came out, I thought people were trying to like theorize who the person might be, and I just instantly thought like, well, that's the Prowler. Like we've already seen him in the trailer before, because there's a scene where he's like chasing Spider-Man, and he kind of is like black and purple, and his like
I'm pretty sure he's on a subway train just like this. It looks like.
Yeah, and even like his character, like in comic books or anything, is similar. So I was like, well, I don't think there's like a whole lot to to go off of here. So I was like, all right, cool, Prowler. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing this movie though, man. It's gonna be so sick. It looks beautiful.
Yeah, I think the only thing I would say that maybe it's not the Prowler never fought original Spider-Man. He only fought Miles.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
that would be the only reason.
It could be maybe like a color shifted version of maybe Shocker or something if they wanted to go with a different creative direction. But
there's so much detail in here that looks so good.
I can't wait to see the hero shot where all of the spider people get together, you know, like the kind of Avengers-esque like spin around of the camera. Like I want to see the girl in the spider mech so bad. I would just want to see all these fractured things together. And like I'm looking forward to like what the possible like after credit scenes could be. Like since this is kind of like an animated world, and Sony is starting to play nice with Marvel, like loaning out Spider-Man, I would like to maybe see it go the other way. Like Marvel's like, hey, we're not gonna like give you like these top tier Marvel characters that we have live action, but hell, if you want to put Wolverine in the next Spider-Verse movie, go ahead. Like, holy crap, that'd be awesome. That'd be so cool.
Well, especially if they were able to pull like maybe a different universe version of these characters. Like a Wolverine noir or something like that. Like they didn't have straight Wolverine, but like one of these alternate universes was like maybe the kickoff for the next movie, rather than the Ultimate Universe. So, there's Prowler possibly and Spider-Man on a train. Take a look at that. But now we're going to talk more about other Sony stuff. Sony is just dishing out the Spider-Man stuff this year, Mike. They are in the next 12 months. We're going to get 2 Spider-Man property live action films and an animated one at least. So we're going to talk about what they've called the Sony's universe of Marvel characters.
Such a bad name. I didn't even. When you said it at the top of the show, I was like, this is not a name. This is just a description. Yeah,
so it's kind of like Worlds of DC to me a little bit. Like it can be used better, but they're probably not going to push this on people. Just like Marvel doesn't say MCU all the time. So I don't know where they're going to use this, but
I know where they're using it. It's at the top of their contract for all of the characters that they own, like Sony's universe of Marvel characters. Like, they didn't get very creative.
They include this, but we did find out that in this thing they hold the rights to over 900 Marvel characters, and we may only know like a dozen of them total by name, because we're going to talk about their current slate here in a second. And I was like, who the hell is one of these characters? So, I mean, of the 900 Marvel characters that you could think Sony owning, which is probably just Spider-Man stuff, I think, like, Spider-Man, Venom, the villains of Spider-Man, like the main ones, the Sinister Six, and after that I kind of get confused a little bit.
Yeah, well, it's just like that. There's obviously going to be like deep cut characters that nobody knows and no one cares about, but I think I joked that like, oh, half of these characters are probably just like high school students that have appeared in the comic books. Like, oh yeah, we own the rights to like Timothy Smith. He has no powers, but he showed up in English class once, and he said a funny joke to Peter, and they did a high five. So he's going to get his own movie development, where he's going to be given high fives and jokes all the time. He's going to be really good at science, really good at school. He's going to be tutoring some kids. Cinematic universe right there.
Not only,
so I think...
well, they also have Ned Leeds, but they could also use the same actor as the character Ganke from Ultimate Spider-Man, so... I don't. They're mixing and matching.
But, the Genki cinematic universe.
Yeah, exactly. So,
or sorry, Sony's universe of Genki characters.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like maybe 6 or 7. So, but so that's what they're calling it. And this universe that they're working on kind of almost hinges on Venom rather than Spider-Man, which I'm okay with, because if they hinged on Spider-Man, they would just be playing catch up and doing awful Spider-Man stuff still. So. They're hinging everything on Venom being like their lead character. I mean, is that okay with you?
Well, I'm not really keeping up a whole lot with current comic book storylines, but I did kind of watch an explainer just recently where apparently the whole Venom symbiote universe just got like a huge like mythos kind of revamp recently, where there's a symbiote god out there.
Yes.
And he was born at the same time, or actually no, he existed technically before the Celestials, and then when the Celestials like created the universe, he got pissed off and he chopped off one of their heads, and then like he created a sword out of like a symbiote, and then like he created like actual living symbiotes that became like renegades and like attacked them. So I guess there's like a crazy like a galactic origin they could take, but I can't imagine the Sony cinematic universe getting that large.
Right.
But I guess there's tons of stuff you could do with symbiotes, but I think Venom is cool, but I don't think symbiotes are all that interesting enough to just like really expand this out. Like, yeah, it's kind of cool when like a symbiote attaches to like a like Ghost Rider version of the Hulk, because you got this weird like combo, and he looks really cool on like a splash screen of like a limited like 5 series run. But like, what are you gonna? I don't know.
Well, I think you're taking the wrong thing of this.
You can only stretch the black goo so far.
I think you're taking like they're not hinging it on symbiotes. They're hinging it on Venom and anti-heroes. Is kind of what it is here.
His success in general. Is what you're saying.
Yeah. Like if this universe is gonna be, it's not gonna be the bright and airy, Marvel where everything has a happy ending and everything has to be, family friendly. They can probably make it a little different. So again, like we said, this is either going to be pretty okay or a turd in the wind, Mike. So Venom is their hinging point to see if anything else may even move forward. Everything on this current slate list we're going to go through could technically be chopped off right now if they wanted to. They could stop any of this. So we're going to go through this. First and foremost, we know the one that's moving the fastest is probably Morbius the Living Vampire.
Jared Leto, right?
Jared Leto. I think they have a director and they have a script, so like that could happen as soon as they want to. The Black and Silver movie was stopped completely, and they split it into 2 movies. Black Cat, they think, has enough material on her own to do her own movie. I agree, she does have a lot of material out there. And then Silver Sable, I don't know why they continue to need to do anything with her.
I think just the news of a possible Silver Sable movie that have been making the rounds for the last year has done more for the recognizability of her character than anything else. Like, the only reason people know about her now is because she's had a development deal. Like, no one really knows her.
and she's very, very much a large part of the Spider-Man PS4 story trailer or whatever. Like, there's a large lady in silver coming for you. I wonder if that's Silver Sable. Yes, it is. The character Nightwatch we've been talking about for a couple years, possibly a Spike Jonze film. He kind of looks like Spawn if you look him up.
Yeah,
interesting character.
Looks like Marvel. Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, that one's kind of iffy. Craven the Hunter we've talked about more recently. That's in their to-do list. The character Jackpot was announced this week as having something quote unquote in development. I had to go look who this was, because I'm like, who the hell is Jackpot? When I thought about it, I was like, oh, it's from the line "You just hit the jackpot, Tiger" from like Mary Jane. So Mary Jane. Well, it's a redheaded character who was not Mary Jane Watson, and she debuted in 2007 and has superhuman strength.
All right.
And then there was one lady who had the power, and then she sold the rights to her superhuman persona to another lady who had superhuman strength. That was a Wikipedia hole I did not need to go down, that's for sure. And then lastly, the last character to announce that they could be working on is Silk, which is we've talked about this a little bit before. Cindy Moon,
kind of the female spider, spider girl out there,
bit by the same spider who bit Peter Parker, but with different abilities. So
yeah, it's hard to have an opinion on all this stuff because, like you said, these are all kind of like anti-heroes or kind of vigilantes, like running under justice, maybe don't have quite the same code of ethics as Spider-Man. Like, where's Scarlet Spider? That's like, or like, where's Ben Reilly? Give me something a little bit more interesting. Maybe Marvel has an idea.
I would
for
like,
that.
if we're going to deal with clones of Spider-Man, I would love that to be in the MCU. Like,
yeah, give us the clone, like the clone that we all want, you know? The most interesting person on this whole list is, I think, Craven the Hunter. I think he has a more like insatiable appetite to reach his goal, which is always more interesting for a character. Like, he's like a hunter and he wants to be the hunter, so like that's cool. Imagining just a normal guy like leveling up from hunting like tigers and lions and elephants, and then he's like, nope, I'm gonna go after superheroes now. I think that's an interesting idea. But yeah, man, I don't know. I have the same opinion about all these movies as I did with all of those DC movies that were announced. Like, you got to get all this stuff right first. Like, we've only seen them get Spider-Man right because Marvel helped them out. So
yeah, and again, like I said, none of these are quote unquote officially announced until they're in production. So it's called, what was it called? It's not Ride or Die. It's like Do or Shut Up or Get Up. I don't know what it's called. There's a thing where like all the movies can stop up until a certain point, and then they have to kind of go through, or people are owed a lot of money. But yeah, a lot of these, I mean, again, Morbius is probably the closest one. I would say probably Craven's second closest. We'll see what this. We'll have to follow the Sony universe of Marvel characters as it develops. Venom movie, however, will reportedly they're trying to shoot for a PG-13 rating now.
Boo!
The only reason is if they do an R, they can't cross over with Spider-Man ever. Like,
no, that is such. I don't know who's peddling that excuse out there. That is so stupid, because he is a super violent character in the comic books, but when he shows up in a Spider-Man comic, it's totally fine. Like, the character doesn't have to just like eat people alive with like blood and organs and pancreas flying all over the place in a Spider-Man movie, but he can do it in his own movie. Oh, that makes me so mad that they think that they have to neuter Venom just because there might be a Spider-Man crossover. Oh,
do you want Spider-Man and Venom on the same movie?
Yes, we all want them on the same movie.
Do you think Disney will let any character that has an R-rated movie you have to watch beforehand be in their Spider-Man movie?
No, because I don't think that it's going to be like a prerequisite. I think people will kind of get the point. You know, you can introduce Tom Hardy and Venom into a Spider-Man movie without having seen his movie. Yeah, it'll be better and it'll be more engaging because you'll know about the backstory and everything. But you could always just like drop a line or two.
That's not how Marvel Cinematic Universe works though. Like, everything in there is connected, and if you're going to bring Venom in, you have to connect that Venom movie to it as well. It's not just like, oh, the standalone Venom movie is not connected. You don't watch it. It's not part of it. It's like they have to do it all. Like, that is the core basis for all the MCU movies. So
I think that idea maybe holds a little bit more weight with a character like Deadpool, just because like when he is on the screen, he is going to be lewd, he is going to swear, like these are things that you can't get around, just like the language that he has, and his humor works really good with like juxtaposed with like the gore and blood and bones and the crushing, and he like always is losing limbs. But like with Venom, I can totally see him like being PG-13 crossing with Spider-Man. And it's also like it's the origin of his character, so things might be sloppy at the very beginning when Tom Hardy's trying to learn how to use like the Venom and the symbiote stuff. So it could make sense that he might be less pinpoint accuracy. But man, PG-13, that's not the news I wanted to hear, man.
I'm like, if you want Venom in your Spider-Man, this is how you got to get it. So you got to give up one or the other, and this is the way it's gonna do. So. Like,
don't like it, Chris.
Well, then you're gonna give Spider-Man back to Sony, and you don't get him in the MCU anymore. Like,
no,
there's no middle ground where this works.
I think the only thing stopping this is just some kind of worried like CEOs and producers out there. It's just like, hey, there's four-year-olds going to Deadpool movies right now. Like, just get off your high horse, Disney. It makes me so annoyed.
No. Kevin Feige will not let that happen ever. Like Kevin
Feige wants that to happen. It's just probably the people above him at Disney that's just like, I don't know.
He would not. No, he would not do that. Every movie he's made on his own volition, even before Disney bought him. So I think he would not let a PG-13 movie be part of his MCU, or rated R movie be part of his MCU overall.
Chris,
so
I think we're just gonna have to disagree on this one.
And I feel I'm right. So we're gonna walk away from that saying that I was right.
Walk away. We're gonna walk away, friends.
Spider-Man: Far From Home is still coming out next July. Samuel L. Jackson and Kobe Smulders have been confirmed to return for this sequel.
But Chris, they got dusted.
They did get a lot of people got dusted. Spider-Man got dusted. So maybe this is all a big hoax. They're not even making this movie. This is they're just putting news out there to fake us out, Mike.
I mean, this does lend a little bit more credence to S.H.I.E.L.D. being more involved in this film. And then when you get S.H.I.E.L.D. more involved, it brings my fan theory of a possible, Spider-Woman showing up in this. I mean, we haven't seen Spider-Woman show up in the Spider-Verse at all. I think they're saving her. They're saving her for this movie.
What do you mean Spider-Verse?
I mean, in the Spider-Verse, in the animated movie, they have access to all of these different spider people that they could throw on screen. And the one that we haven't seen, like one of the more notable ones, is Spider-Woman, and she hasn't been in the trailers yet.
She doesn't have the same origins as she's not technically a spider person, though.
They could throw her in there, though. I mean, the girl who built the Spider-Man robot, I'm sure hasn't been bitten by a spider. So.
No, everything in the Spider... If you go read the Spider-Verse comic, all those characters are tied to spider-bitten incidents and stuff like that. And the Spider-Woman, ironically enough, was not bitten by a spider. She just got some powers, and then she called herself Spider-Woman. It's probably the weirdest name without an origin that has anything to do with spiders. Like, it's just like, why did you even
They
call
could still toss her in there. Anyway, I'm expecting Spider-Woman to show up in this movie.
Mm-hmm. Well, either way, I think what the biggest thing to walk away from here is, if S.H.I.E.L.D. is around, they've rewritten the world to where S.H.I.E.L.D. does exist again. But I think this is fine. I mean, it doesn't bother me. Sure, more Samuel L. Jackson, Nick Fury. I'd love to see him coach some Peter Parker around while he's traveling the world. But speaking of getting dusted, Infinity War. I just watched half of it last night, Mike. Again. Cole Obsidian. Here's a little secret thing here. If you haven't watched it, I didn't catch this any of the times I've watched it until recently. On his waist is a sash that has Captain Marvel's colors and pattern on it. If you notice,
this is like some of my favorite type of Easter eggs that actually hint to something meaningful. Because I saw this kind of floating around the internet verse the past couple days, and the coolest thing about it is this is a very similar shot that you can see in the trailers for the movie, and that sash is different in the trailers. In the trailers, it's just like it's a different colored cloth, different design. It kind of matches his suit a little bit more. So they specifically changed it and hid it. So I like that now it's different.
Yeah, I'd like to see where this ties in. Perhaps maybe the Cole Obsidian shows up in the Captain Marvel movie. That
would be cool. And I mean, this dude's rough and tumble, and we saw him like take some heroes to task. So if you have Captain Marvel show up on screen and everybody is familiar with this guy, and we're like, oh man, he's gonna rough her up, and then he just like knocks like knocks his lights out, like we're like, damn, he's strong.
See, yeah,
she's strong.
I would also go maybe the other way, since he did get knocked around. Like maybe she's still learning her power, so he puts the rough and tumble on her a little bit. And I don't know. There's got to be a way they bring this back around somehow. Like that is not a coincidence.
They're tussling for sure.
Yeah, so I think we're gonna see him earlier or later. Maybe he comes back in the next one. I don't know.
Yeah, just to be a little bit more descriptive for the people listening on an audio platform, the dude with like the big retractable chain side,
the largest of Thanos' generals.
Gets his hand chopped off in the Doctor Strange portal thing.
Spider-Man catches his little hammer when they're fighting. So when he first arrives on Earth, you get to see that sash. I think it might be in there. Otherwise, I got to go back and look a little harder. Mm-hmm. But speaking of Infinity War, Mike, you got to see it in theaters, right? Did you watch it in theaters? Okay.
Yeah, of course I saw it.
If you didn't catch it in theaters, IMAX is having a 10th anniversary marathon of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Ooh.
From August 30th through September 6th, you can watch all the movies in theaters, but you're going to probably have to take some time off work to do this. Because the shows run at 1, 3, 5, and 7. Is that right? I put down there 1, 3 every 2 hours or something like 1, 4, 7, and 10 every 3 hours. 1, 4, 7, and 10. Starting with Iron Man, you can go all the way up to Avengers Infinity or Ant-Man and the Wasp, actually. So the first 5 days are literally the entire MCU, all 20 movies. Then on the 4th and the 5th, they actually are doing like themed movies that day, like Origins movies, like Iron Man, Spider-Man, Black Panther, Doctor Strange, or team-ups, so Guardians, Civil War, Avengers 1, and Infinity War. What I did not know, actually, is Iron Man, The Incredible Hulk, and Captain America, The First Avenger have never been in IMAX before.
Oh.
So this would be a chance to get to watch them on the IMAX screen.
The thing that's really selling this for me is I'm not seeing the text anywhere on this graphic that says 3D. So if this is just normal flat 2 dimensions, I would love that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. I don't think some of these movies didn't get transitioned into 3D, and trying to find them would probably be a nightmare. So
yeah, I'm looking at some of these days, and I'm trying to think like, oh, what's the best combo here? Because the last week you get Guardians 2, Civil War, Classic Avengers, followed up by Infinity War. Oh, that would be an awesome back-to-back right there of those 2 Avengers movies. But then it's just like, well, Winter Soldier's my favorite, so if I want to get that, like, oh, but I'd love to see Black Panther again on screen. So it's like, oh, you can get Black Panther. I mean, this Monday one looks pretty sweet. Ragnarok, Black Panther, Infinity War, and then Ant-Man and the Wasp. Man, if I could make my own, maybe swap out Ant-Man and the Wasp for like Homecoming, I think I'd love that.
Well, what's cool about this, if you notice, the last day, the 6th, is actually fan votes. So you can actually vote to see what other 2 movies you get to watch again that last day. I'm trying to see here just a little more detail. I'm pretty sure they're just, it's not saying that. I'm going to click to find tickets, Mike. I wonder how much this costs. I didn't actually look at how much this cost because I think you buy 1 ticket and then you can just go to any of them that you want. Let's see. Reserve your seat before it's too late. Let me see here. Oh, you can buy tickets individually, Mike. You don't have to get them. Like, there's not like one big ticket, I guess. So,
well, I think it's kind of a shame that if you want to catch Infinity War or Black Panther, you can't watch them on a weekend. So that kind of stinks. Yeah, anyway, that they're really they're draining as many pennies out of these movies as possible.
Do you think this is going to push Black Panther into new heights in theaters?
Well, they already hit their like $700 million goal, so maybe this was their plan if it didn't quite get there. What if this whole schedule was just created for the Black Panther?
Just Black
Panther? They I don't know if we have this in our show notes or not, but the Academy just created that brand new category. I guess it's not brand new, but it's the most popular kind of movie category that's gonna be juxtaposed with Best Picture. So I think Marvel is gonna make a big push for Black Panther. And it being out in screens again.
Do you think they would do Black Panther over Infinity War for popular movie?
Yeah, I think so. Just because I think it has a little bit more of kind of more of a sophisticated cultural connection, and it has that domestic kind of box office goal. And I think it's reached probably more people in a more significant, like, kind of Academy way. So, you know, and also they have really awesome like costume design. And so I was expecting Black Panther to even get nominated for best costume even without this new category. So they could have 2 nominations this year.
Yeah, I didn't put it in here because I think most popular is the stupidest decision they've ever made. Because if you win most popular, you can't win best film. Like, it essentially cuts out any superhero movies from ever being best film. Not that I put any weight on that, but
I don't think they were ever going to win anyway.
Well,
but
I mean, I don't put any weight on that. Like the Academy's awards don't mean anything to me. Like they're just a bunch of people up there tooting their own horns and being old white people voting on movies they think you should watch. Either way, yeah, it's up there. They have chances. So, but it could increase the box office of a lot of these movies, Mike, if this goes well. And it does show 2D for all these movies. I just looked up the ticket prices. So,
oh man, that's awesome. I've been wanting to see these movies in 2D IMAX for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, that would, if you can find the time to do it, God bless you, Mike. Marvel Television. Did you know Marvel Television is under Marvel Entertainment, not Disney? Like, they are operated strictly under Marvel Entertainment's office?
Mm-hmm. I was aware.
Good. So they're using the Disney and Fox merger to move the TV version away from Marvel Entertainment, mostly Ike Perlmutter, back into Marvel Studios.
Oh, that's good news. That is good news.
Kevin Feige was actually one of the main producers on Agent Carter, actually, like back whenever it was still under Studios. So when Marvel Studios got away from the Marvel Entertainment, they've been able to make better movies. Like, you probably remember Iron Man 3 and Thor 2, right? Your 2 favorite Marvel movies. That was under Marvel Entertainment. So now they've got away from that. They've become, I think, a better studio. So hopefully Marvel TVs, knock on wood, can get it done. But this is also because they are in this middle of this merger process. They cannot greenlight any new TV shows from Marvel. But they can continue making new seasons. That's why, you know, we have S.H.I.E.L.D. and Cloak and Dagger and Runaways, and those shows still going, but they can't do, like, New Warriors. It can't be officially greenlit yet until the merger's done. Because they don't
do you think this is all making Jeff Loeb a little too nervous over there?
No, I think this, he likes this. This is what he wants.
Oh, do you think he's going to get the job?
Yeah. I mean, he currently is the head of Marvel TV, so I think he would stay as head of Marvel TV. I think, was it Jim Chory who was like maybe the president of Marvel TV, Marvel Television, the co-head? He left the company. And they've not replaced him yet. No one has, like, they've not refilled his position. So that kind of is leading into it, like, yeah, they're going to move under Marvel Studios and be back.
Well, if I had to extrapolate this to the furthest in my brain, since that's what we do on this podcast, it's just like, when does Daredevil show up in the MCU? That's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
Like, when do these small street level characters at least make a cameo? Like, I don't necessarily have to have a Spider-Man Daredevil team up movie, which would be awesome, but if somehow maybe they could kind of just, like, maybe Matt Murdock could kind of show up and give, like, Aunt May some legal advice. I mean, that'd be kind of cool, right?
Yeah, this is going to open up a lot of possibilities and probably a lot of more TV shows for that, because as we know,
streaming service, man.
But I mean, as we know, Marvel Entertainment, like, at the press screenings of the old, like, the first phase of Marvel movies, like, he wouldn't even buy bottled water and chips for, like, the press to snack on, like, while they were waiting for the movie to start. Like, he's just such a tight ass. Like, nobody likes him. So I'm really interested to see where that goes. Hopefully it does come back to Marvel Studios. But in that regards, New Warriors, if it does get greenlit, will probably go to Hulu, which Disney will own majority in when all this merger stuff is completed. So
it'll join the Cloak and Dagger Runaways universe.
Yeah, probably. I mean, it's all the teenagers, the pre-teen, or I guess young adults era. So
are you an angsty teen? Do you want a movie? Do you want a TV show? Come on over to Hulu.
Yeah, come on over to Hulu or Freeform, where Cloak and Dagger live. Iron Fist Season 2 gave us a new little video clip here, Mike. I don't know if you saw this or not because it just came up, but it's you probably saw it actually at Comic-Con. It's Davos showing his steel serpent powers. I think he has like a red fist instead of a yellow fist.
Yeah, he's got his own glowing fist now. I don't really know what that means because I don't know a whole lot about Davos from the comic books, but I guess I would be more curious of where he got the power from. Like, did he go in and did he punch the corpse of the dragon? Well, this is the power you get when you desecrate the dead body of the dragon. You know, I don't know.
Well, yeah, because he's I don't know in the comic books, but like to get the power of the Iron Fist, you have to plunge your hand into the heart of the undying Shallou or whatever, and that's how you get the power. So obviously Davos did not do that because he's at arms. He's head to head with the Iron Fist character. So how did he get his and like what?
Well,
dark magic
if I
is he
wanted
doing?
to be extremely immature,
Oh no!
if you have to plunge your fist into the heart to get the golden Iron Fist, maybe you have to plunge it into the butt of the dragon. I mean, is that too far? Did I take it too far?
I don't know if you're really adding to the conversation anymore, Mike. So.
A dragon colonoscopy if you want that red glowing fist. I mean, you really got to earn it. It smells, it's stinky. I'm sure the dragon's not going to like it, so you're going to have to fend while it's in there.
You don't know what he likes and doesn't like.
You're going to have to fend off a bite from the dragon with the other fist. So you got to be really cunning and coy. So I don't know. Davos seemed like he's pretty desperate at the end of the last season, so seems like he'll do just about anything.
Yeah, he's got a red fist now. We're gonna see some orange energy.
I'm sorry for bringing that up. Let's move on to the next
we're gonna move on.
topic.
ABC, Marvel Television. We're gonna talk some more here. Apparently, Marvel Television are cooking up with a couple things for broadcast. Per the president of ABC, shows that they can't talk about because Jeff Loeb, the head of Marvel TV, won't let them announce them just yet. Probably because he's waiting for the merger. Like, we're going to move over here so we can say these shows. But S.H.I.E.L.D. was moved to the summer where live same-day ratings are very, like, they're not important at all to help the show live longer because they have to get higher ratings on those weekdays in the falls. So in the summer, they don't really, they're like, we have to put something on TV so your ratings can be lower if they have to live. So I think S.H.I.E.L.D.'s going to get a longer lifespan living in the summer. And, like, that's kind of what people were looking for. Like, will S.H.I.E.L.D. only get one more season, or is it done for good with 6?
I guess we'll just have to see. What are they thinking about? Maybe making another like 23 episode like TV series for ABC because, like you just said, that's got to get a lot of eyeballs if it's going to be in that prime time of like fall to spring. So I'm trying to think of like what characters would have that big of an audience. I mean, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was a big sell because you freaking have Coulson and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. from the MCU coming to your big screen, like one of the first Marvel television shows to hit there. So I don't know what you do to replace Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I would love a fall show and a spring show because then their production schedules can kind of reflect the MCU as it evolves.
Oh, that would be fun. It's like three 13-episode series.
Yeah, pretty much. Like you have 3/4 of, or not 3/4, 3/3 of the year where they do 13 episodes. And because of the way TV production works, you can't always line up with the movies because you don't know what's happening. But with the shorter ones, they can probably do that a little better than they could if they were just doing full 23 episodes.
What about Ghost Rider? I mean, they developed him, so why don't they bring Ghost Rider into a 13-episode series? That might be kind of fun.
Yeah, Ghost Rider would be a good one. I'd love to see Agent Carter get one final season just to send her off appropriately. Or, like the origin of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like, if it's a S.H.I.E.L.D., like, there's the current S.H.I.E.L.D. and there's, like, S.H.I.E.L.D. Year 1 or something like that. That'd be interesting to see what they deal with back then. Character-wise, it's hard to really find out what they could do there. But if they're cooking a couple things up, maybe we'll get something to announce. Maybe New York this year, hopefully. We'll see. That's coming up, so. Cloak and Dagger, the Season 2 poster, like, Season 1 just wrapped up like a week ago. The Season 2 poster's already out, and they're indicating a spring release already, so faster than a year turnaround for Season 2 on Cloak and Dagger. Apparently a lot of people really like this show. It might win some awards, Mike, so. And it says Season 2 will be Mayhem. One of the villains they built up in Season 1 was a character called Mayhem. So that's where that comes into.
Good for them. I was two things I was not expecting this year was Cloak and Dagger to really kill it, and also apparently that Krypton show is doing pretty well. So
we've been let down so many times that our expectations were just very low for any new show coming out. So there's that. Cloak and Dagger might also be on the Disney streaming service, which we're going to talk about. I'm very excited about the Disney streaming service, Mike. It's going to go a long way in our house, probably more so than DC Universe. In case you were wondering, the new home for Marvel TV shows and movies will be on the Disney streaming service when they come to streaming platforms. Captain Marvel and Forward will stream on there until all the other deals are expired with all the other MCU movies. That would be really awesome to just log in and have all of them right there for me.
Yeah. So it sounds like if you're holding on to Netflix just to watch reruns of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., that's probably going to be moving over to the streaming service.
They have up through not Infinity War, Black Panther's on there, I'm pretty sure, and Infinity War will be on there eventually. So, once those go away, you'll have a new place to go watch them. Disney shows they're working on include High School Musical, which we've talked about before, which we're not. It's not for us. Monsters Inc. and of course my favorite, The Muppets, coming to the streaming service. So if you want to get your Monsters Inc. show and your Muppet shows, that's where you're going to go. You're going to see a theme here. We talked about DC Universe not having anything right out the gate or new stuff every month, but it sounds like Disney's going to have enough products to really deliver a new movie or TV series about every month here. Live action remakes they're working on include Lady and the Tramp. I guess they're really that dog CGI down, man. Sword in the Stone, which I didn't ever think we'd get a live action remake. A movie called Togo, and one called Noelle, which I think features Anna Kendrick as the daughter of Santa Claus. Maybe I think is what it was.
All right.
So they're working on some. I never heard of those other ones being movies, so that's new to me. Some other remakes include Three Men and a Baby. I know you're thrilled to watch that one.
Woo!
The Paper Magician, which I think is a book series, Stargirl, and a new Don Quixote series or movie.
All right. I mean,
they're just throwing content at us, man. They don't care if we know what it is or not. They're just shucking it.
The funny thing is we're only talking about half of these just because it's the Disney streaming service news. When this stuff actually launches, it's probably not going to show up on the radar of Superhero Slate because we're not going to be following the longevity of Don Quixote on this podcast.
Oh, I might. I ain't watching 3 Men and a Baby though. Ain't no way, no how. The merger content was probably a biggest question here. With them buying Fox, what's going to come from Fox to this service, including movie and TV shows? Now, we know part of the merger includes National Geographic content, which will come to the Disney streaming service app.
That's kind of cool.
But some of the Fox library, most people are worried, like, where will The Simpsons go? Where will, some of their more raunchy content live on? But probably will go to their Hulu because they own, again, the majority of Hulu.
Yeah, they've kind of stated that. Well, actually, maybe Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. since has kind of moved to that 10 p.m. time slot, so some of the later episodes might be more edgy for like little kids. So maybe Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. will end up going to Hulu.
It definitely could. But in terms of Fox stuff, they're still debating where to put the movies at as well. Like, where does the Fox library go in the Disney streaming app?
Yeah, I think Die Hard is a Fox movie. I don't think Die Hard is going to the Disney streaming service.
Wasn't Predator that you watched? Wasn't it 20th Century Fox?
It might have been. Actually, I don't know.
But I mean, I could totally see like Indiana Jones and like Star Wars coming to the Disney streaming app, but not some of the other stuff. Like they're gonna mix and match. And lastly, what about Star Wars, Mike? Well,
yes, Jon Favreau. What are you up to?
The TV series. Now, you sitting down for this?
Okay, I'm sitting.
Jon Favreau's TV series will cost roughly $100 million to make 10 episodes.
What? I mean, I'm kind of reclaiming my excitement just because I saw this news earlier this week. But that's crazy. That's Game of Thrones money right there.
Well,
so
just to put that in perspective, I put it in here. That is comparable to Game of Thrones' most recent seasons, like season 6 when they did like $100 million for 10 episodes. And I imagine Star Wars is going to need that CG effects budget.
I mean, that just shows the commitment. I mean, and that Disney would even let that information come out. I don't know if this was leaked or if it was official or what was going on there, but Disney, they want you to know that they mean business. And it's like, we're going to make the next Game of Thrones, but it's going to be on our streaming service with like one of the most popular IPs out there in the world. And it's going to be Star Wars. 20 lightsabers every episode guaranteed.
with a showrunner who is known to make money off of all of our IPs that he's given.
Yeah, so. He made Iron Man. I gotta trust Jon Favreau.
Yeah, he did Elf and Swingers and all those other things before that too.
Apparently, The Jungle Book is good. I haven't gotten around to it yet.
The Jungle Book. People love Chef. People love the movie Chef he was in. So
yeah, it'll make you hungry for sandwiches.
Yeah, Jon Favreau.
Just a warning. Just a warning if you haven't seen it yet. Get a sandwich.
Depending
ready by your side.
what movie it is, Jon Favreau looks like he either has had a lot of sandwiches or has been holding off on the sandwiches, depending on what movie you're watching him in. So he fluctuates back and forth. Earlier this week, this is more of a clarification for everyone who may have been looking at news earlier this week, not from us, but
this was a whirlwind. Chris.
Dark Phoenix, there's this Canadian newspaper that came out, and it said that they're going to be doing 2.5 to 3 weeks of reshoots this year. Everyone, it was in French. They thought it said 2 to 3 months of reshoots this year for Dark Phoenix. And the internet about exploded for like 3 hours here because they thought they were going to have to reshoot the whole Dark Phoenix movie. But it's only 2.5 to 3 weeks, which lines up with previous reports how much they only spent like $10 million on reshoots.
Yeah, all movies basically have a couple weeks of reshoots, so
yeah.
It's not too surprising.
And again, knock on wood, this is reshoots to just wrap this universe up and get it out of here. We don't need it anymore.
And if you're not familiar with our theories on Dark Phoenix, I am subscribing to Chris's fan theory, where since this movie technically takes place in the past, it'll somehow dovetail right into the very first X-Men movie, which will make it a nice contained universe with a bunch of weird time travel craziness that happens like in the middle of it. So you can sit down with your nice X-Men Fox box set and you can just watch it in one big circle.
That's right, and you don't have to worry about what happened afterwards. It's all there.
Yeah,
everything's fine.
And then when you wonder why New Mutants isn't in that box set, it's because it's in the Deadpool box set. Yeah. They're gonna put it in that one.
Exactly. Deadpool can go exist on his own. Who's also trying to rewrite X-Men Origins in his movie at the end of it. Either way, there's a lot going on there. Anyway, Star Trek 4. I didn't expect to hear any announcements out of this today, but there's some weird news here. Talks for Chris Pine and Chris Hemsworth to return to this movie, because it's supposed to be a father-son time travel trip, have fallen completely apart with both parties walking away from the table. Apparently they had deals in place since 2016 to come to this movie for Chris Pine and Chris Hemsworth, but due to the underwhelming box office performance of Star Trek Beyond, the studios asked them to essentially take a cut on their budget, to do it. And they're like, really? Like, we're like starring in the biggest movies from Marvel and DC right now. Like, we're A-list stars. Why would we take less money? So.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Chris Pine, take him or leave him. I guess if he's not, Chris Hemsworth, because if he's not in the movie, you just kind of change the plot. You just go a different direction. Maybe don't include time travel that you have to over-explain. I feel like the only reason they wanted to bring Chris Hemsworth in is because he's Thor, and you want Thor in your movie any way you can. Like, oh, remember we put him in a flashback at the very beginning of the first movie. Let's find a way to bring him back in with like science and a wormhole.
The only thing I can think about that is they had time travel in this one. They could do it to set the next set of movies with different casts if they want to, because
without Chris Pine, you're talking about a totally different franchise.
You have to start over almost.
Yeah, you got to have the captain. The captain is the whole reason these Star Trek universes exist. Like, everybody pins the captain to the different seasons of the TV shows. It's not, you can't just have no captain. So I don't know what you do without Chris Pine. I guess give him Chris Hemsworth's money. If he's not going to be in the movie, just give it to him.
Yeah, but how do you prepare the next Star Trek for an entirely different cast? Because the movies before this only took from the TV shows. They were like, this is the TV show cast, let's put them in a movie. Where do you go after this if you want to continue this universe they've built that has been very successful?
It seems like all the excitement is on the CBS All Access app right now.
Discovery. They're bringing Picard back to the movies, man.
Yeah, that's where all the excitement is. So, and Tarantino was the other kind of X factor in these Star Trek movies that were coming up. So, heck, I would go see any Tarantino movie that had to do with Star Trek. So I guess Chris Pine wouldn't have to be in that one.
Well, I don't think he is. But how do you? What's the bridge there? What is that bridge? They usually try to keep them together.
I think Tarantino would be your bridge. Just be like, hey, make whatever Star Trek movie you want. You can make it rated R. You can make it rated X if you really felt like you wanted to. Do whatever you wanted to do. You just can't have Captain Kirk. And then maybe he just goes wild and crazy, makes the most out of the box crazy Star Trek movie ever, and then you just use that as your jumping off point. Just make the weirdest Star Trek movies in existence.
I guess I want something connected, but you don't have to make, because Star Trek movies necessarily aren't connected every time.
I feel
I'm not a Trekkie person, so
I feel like the hype has drained from the cinematic version of Star Trek, the last movie kind of was more acceptable than the second movie, but it's not like they've been knocking them out of the park. So I feel like you maybe just put the IP aside for a little while and then maybe reboot it with a new generation. I
don't know if they need to. They just need to do something. They just need to do something new.
We're not the people to talk about this.
Either way, I would like to see Chris Pine and Chris Hemsworth go pal around in a Star Trek movie. I would like to see that. But if Paramount's not going to give them the money, well, we're not going to get to see that. Halo, the movie or TV series, not the video game, but the TV series based on the video game.
You're gonna break my neck with that kind of U-turn of topics.
No, these are all in space, man. It's all space stuff here. Master Chief has been confirmed to be the lead character in Showtime series, which has put me to rest a little bit on this. I was very worried that they were not going to use him and do like, oh, this is some sort of military sergeant who only saw the battles that he was in.
Do you want to see his face?
No, I don't care. No.
So they're gonna cast some guy and just put him in a helmet the whole movie?
Oh yeah, that's totally fine with me. I mean, that's how you play the games. Like, you don't have to see his face as long as he's talking and you know what his mission is. You don't need to see him. He's iconic enough as it is.
I would say that would be weird because it's never really happened before, but they kind of did that with Carl Urban with Judge Dredd, but you got to see the lower part of his mouth, so you got to see him emote with his mouth a little bit. I think your main character in a series is going to have to emote somehow, so I think he's going to have to take that helmet off, unfortunately, Chris.
I don't think he is. They've never done it in how many five games, 6, 7 games.
Is Steven Spielberg still attached to this, like producer-wise?
Yeah, like he's like a producer, but like not hands-on producer.
No, he's taking that helmet off, Chris. He's taking that helmet off, whether you like it or not.
He ain't taking it off. If they take it off, people will riot over this show. You just watch. No one will watch it.
What? Okay, listen to me here. You know, we're towards the end of the episode. This is where I like to speculate and throw just crazy, wild theories out there. So you're ready. The Showtime series has just launched. You know, it just dropped. You're sitting down ready to watch it. There has been like no announcement for who Master Chief is going to be. He takes off his helmet at the end of the first episode, and it's Chris Hemsworth. What do? Are you okay with it now?
No, I'm not okay with it.
What?
No.
Thor is Master Chief.
They've never shown Master Chief ever, and they don't need to. I think it'll be fine.
Who could it be if it had to be acceptable? Like The Rock?
No.
Would that be okay?
There's no one I would want to be cast. If they did, I'd want it to be an unknown because it's his voice. They'd have to get. If I want to do anything, I want to get the original voice actor from the video games to do the voice of this character.
Oh, man. What if he's just like some just normal schlubby dad, and it's just like, nope. As long as it sounds like him.
As long as they don't take his helmet off, yeah, I'm fine. I don't care. They know what to do with Master Chief. But it's got a 10-episode first season, which is okay by me. 10 episodes, I love a 10-episode number. I like a nice 10.
He takes the helmet off, and it's the guy that played Jango Fett.
Oh, my God. What if he takes his helmet off, and it's another helmet underneath, Mike?
Oh, man, that would be hilarious. It's like C-3PO, and it's just like, what is going on here? It's a robot head now?
Yeah.
That's not even the right IP. It's like, no, it's an alien. It's like a covenant. It's just like, what is going on here?
Yeah. Or maybe it's like a Medusa scenario where like he takes his helmet. Anyone who sees him just dies instantly. Like that's why he wears the helmet.
Write in, everybody, and let us know. I want to know what's the funniest helmet, or what's the funniest head that could be under that helmet, and what's like actually the coolest person that could be under that helmet.
And I say nothing. I say nobody.
Maybe it's Samus. Maybe it's from Metroid.
Yeah, and this is another Smash Brothers announcement. You know, at the end of it, like buy Smash Brothers now and play as Samus in Master Chief's armor.
Oh my gosh! All right.
And then the last stupidest thing I had here, because I saw this when I was trying to find news for us this week, I came across Dora the Explorer in a live action movie, and I'm like, what the fuck am I seeing here? Like, I hate to drop it like that, but
I didn't even know that they were making a live action Dora.
I didn't either. This is the girl from the last Transformers movie, The Last Night or whatever. You didn't watch it, I don't think. But
girl, you're gonna have to turn around and show us that. No, the backpack. What's the backpack look like? Is it CG? Is it going to be talking?
Yeah.
That looks like a normal Jan sport to me. I think I'm going to have to see an animated backpack. I'm not going to go see it.
You got to see Swiper. That's what you said. You have to see the fully CG'd Swiper.
Oh, yeah. He's probably going to, like... I hope they make him, like, creepily, like, realistic looking. Like, he just looks like this real weasel, and it's just like, am I in a Peter Rabbit movie?
Yeah.
What's going on here? I think the thing that the whole internet is talking about is, like, she seems, like, much older.
Huh.
Like, I think, like, the character in the television show, like, I don't... Why are we even talking
Because I didn't know this was happening, and you dropped these, like, bombs. I'm like... Because I was like, I've never watched Dora, so I went and looked. I'm like, this backpack has a face. How are they going to do the face backpack in this? And she's not even showing it to us.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous that we have decided to talk about Dora.
Look, they dropped a Kim Possible trailer right before we started recording, but I'm not putting that in here.
But it's like, on an intellectual level, I guess the character is is younger in the cartoon show. So it looks like she's maybe an older teenager in the. I don't know what's going on here. Cross her over with Carmen Sandiego. Make a whole universe out of it. I don't know.
How many cosplayers are gonna be dressed up as Dora next year? You think?
Oh, it's so easy. All you got to do is get like a button-up shirt and some orange shorts, and you're halfway there.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I want to do Dora. You watch
There
me.
you go.
Anyway.
There is probably a bunch of kids out there.
I have no idea what's going on with this movie. I just got to see the backpack now. You made me
Stay
look up the backpack. And now I'm like, I got to see this backpack. Like, how goofy is it looking?
Stay tuned. Subscribe to the Superhero Slate podcast to get all your Dora the Explorer and Don Quixote streaming service.
That's right. In the Sony's universe of Genki characters.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, this is it. That's the news. Because I put that on there last because it was so stupid. So we can go now, Mike. If people want to know what you're doing, and then if you're watching any other movie on a whim on HBO, where can they find you at?
Well, they can find me at Mike Royer Design on Instagram and Twitter. You can find my webcomics at pickledcomics.com. Chris, if people want to catch up with you, see what you're up to this summer, where can they find you? Besides out on the sidewalk catching Pokemon.
Yeah, besides that, you can find me on Twitter at Valdan, Valdan, or Instagram, Valdan87, or you can head over to Comic UI. Mike, if people are listening to us and want to hear more of our stuff and all of our goofy predictions and Dora things, where can they find us at?
Well, as always, please visit superheroslate.com where you can get our awesome show notes. So if you want to check out any of these images that we talked about this episode and you don't want to hunt them down, you can check out our show notes. But also, if you watch us on video formats, usually we have those images pop up there for you. So that's awesome, and some great multimedia that Chris whips us for us. So this was a weird way I was going to try to compliment you. But anyway, superheroslate.com. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Google Play Music, or Google Podcasts.
It's Google Podcasts now, actually. Yeah, I updated it. Google's added their own podcast app. So if you have the Google Podcast, you can find us on there.
All right, so Apple and Google Podcasts, YouTube, SoundCloud, TuneIn, Stitcher, iHeartRadio. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and you can get merch at superheroslate.com/store, Chris. If you're a fan of the podcast, we love hearing from you. Let us know what you want under that Master Chief helmet. Reach out on Twitter, Instagram, drop a comment in the YouTube. We love hearing from you, and we love reviews. So if you want to head on over to like Apple or Google Podcasts and drop us a couple stars, a comment, we love that. If you want to be a super fan and you want to sign super fan at the bottom of your check when you go to Applebee's next time, you don't have to sign your name anymore. You can just sign Superhero Slate super fan.
Put it in the memo. Put it in the memo.
That's legal. You can sign contracts with that, but you have to be a super fan first. And if you want to do that, all you got to do is share the show with a friend, share the show with a buddy, and we will be here every week.
That's right, including next week. And also, next week we're going to be offering public notaries that you can just sign Superhero Slate as well. So
yeah, that's true.
We're working on this. It's all patent pending.
Got to be a super fan, though.
Yeah, that's right. So, other than all that legal jumbo that is not true, let's get out of here, Mike, before we get in trouble.
All right, adios.
See ya.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe.
And I was going to go into GameStop because it was like the first time like going into GameStop would actually mean something to me.